It is 1:11, and I'd like to call our meeting to order, please. And we'll begin with the roll, and let's please begin at the end with Commissioner Joseph Kringle.
Commissioner Joseph Kringle, Buffalo, present.
Commissioner Thais Drake, present.
Commissioner Eric Garner, present.
Carol Shapiro, Commissioner present.
Commissioner William Smith, present.
Kathy Kiley Thompson, board
Present.
Thank you. Tina Stanford, Chairwoman to the Board, present. And if everyone could keep your voices up just a little bit extra, we've got the air on, and so that may muffle the sound a little bit.
Commissioner Agostini, present.
Commissioner Capola, present.
Commissioner Alexander, present.
And Commissioner Davis, present.
Also present from the Board of Parole Administrative Staff, please identify yourself.
Rocio Villa, Executive Assistant to the Board of Parole.
Chelsea Isberry, Special Assistant to the Chairwoman.
In representing DOC's wonderful Public Information Office, please identify yourself for the record. Thank you. And also doing our audio-visual recording for us, please identify yourself for the record. Thank you, Ms. Colucci. And welcome to all of our guests and visitors and observers for today's board business meeting. It is May 20th, 2019. The minutes from our last board business meeting have been distributed. That meeting was April 22nd of 2019. Hopefully everyone has had an opportunity to review those minutes. And at this time, be happy to entertain a motion with respect to those minutes. Motion has been made by Commissioner Agostini to approve the minutes. Is there a second to that motion? Seconded by Commissioner Shapiro. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor who may vote on those minutes, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any abstentions? Any nays? Thank you. That motion to approve these minutes has been carried. With respect to old business, we are still very much engaged in training, and our next training that is planned will be regarding sex offenses, how persons convicted of sex offenses are programmed within the Department of Corrections and Community Supervision, the services that they receive, the information that's in the records for our purposes of our interviews and consideration. So we will be meeting with a variety of different staff from the Department of Correction. We'll be meeting with program services staff, and we'll also be meeting with community supervision staff so that we can understand better treatment in the community and housing in the community for that population. And again, that's one of several populations that our Special Populations, also known as Vulnerable Populations Committee, is concerned with. And so that's been a training that all of you have wanted at one time or another, and hopefully we'll be able to achieve that. If not by the end of June, hopefully the end of July. I don't have any other items of old business. I'd like to move into some new business briefly. Is there anything else in terms of old business that anyone wishes to raise? Okay, thank you. I wanted to bring to your attention that the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office has been very actively engaged in charting a new course for their District Attorney's Office. They've published a report and indicated a decision from the District Attorney himself to be more specific in their official statements to the board. And it appears that they have already started to put that practice in motion to, rather than sending blanket form letters, boilerplate language with respect to their opinion on what should happen with respect to people who are incarcerated coming before the board for review, they're taking a more particularized approach, and there may be instances when they are in favor of release, and will let us know that. So just please do what I know you always do, which is pay very close attention to official statements that come from the sentencing court, the district attorney's office that was involved in the underlying conviction, as well as statements that come from defense attorneys who represented persons at the time of their conviction. These are the official statements that the law requires us to consider. But pay particular attention to that, because you may see things that you haven't seen before from certain district attorneys' offices. As you know, there's been a lot of change in terms of elected officials representing different counties across the state. And so with that, you may see different policies coming forth and different things than what you may be used to. So I just wanted to draw your attention to that. I don't have any other new business at this time to discuss. We can move into correspondence, announcements, and invitations unless anyone else has any new business they wish to put on the record for today. All right. With respect to correspondence, announcements, and invitations, I'm sure you've all received invitations that I have forwarded to you announcing the retirement of a lot of people throughout the Department of Corrections and Community Supervision. Notably, we've got at least one superintendent that's retiring. Associate Commissioner Graziano is retiring. He's very helpful with our accreditation, as you know. So there's a lot of institutional knowledge that's passing out of the agency in the coming months, and we're thankful for their expertise that they've lent to us in the time that they're here. I guess I'm hopeful and optimistic in thinking that they have succession plans in place at the department central office level to put new people who are just as wonderful as the people who are retiring into those positions. But I do want to just sort of wish them all well without naming them all. Certainly those that I'm familiar with and that all of you are familiar with through your travels and attendance at board interviews where the superintendents took a particular interest and made themselves available to you to offer any assistance that they could. And of course, Mr. Graziano for all his help to us in terms of the accreditation process. We certainly wish them all very well. And we are going to be losing one of our own, fine commissioners as well, moving on to new opportunities. And that is none other than Commissioner Carol Shapiro. This is her last official board business meeting with us. And so I'd like to turn the floor over to her for the comments that she'd like to make.
Yeah, I hope you guys bear with me, but I think so many of you know I'm an artist. And so I have done a bunch of artwork about my experience in parole, and I wrote a poem, and I'd like to read it to you. It's not personal to any of you, it's really personal to my experiences on the parole board, okay? But first I want to thank all of you, but I thank you in the poem too. I'm going to stand, if that's okay. I can't turn my head, but you can tell I do a lot of public speaking, so I apologize for that. But I will tell you, I stay at Hilton's. Any of you stay at Hilton's? Do you ever look at what's on the card? I used it a lot. It's part of my collage here. These are bars, but it's the cards say, your stay, your way, number one. The other card said, it's time to let me go. So I couldn't resist using that as part of my expression about what parole is. So this is called Ode to the New York State Board of Parole. It's on the road again. It's Monday morn. Syracuse or Utica to secrecy I'm sworn. Review of the records, confidential files and all. Follow each of the statutes. Follow the law. Who knew De novos, 3 YDs or rescissions, parole preparation, and myriad decisions. The compass, the case plan, and sentencing minutes, rifling through a file, absorbing nuances in minutes. Hawkins, LCTI, LAC, NEEC, abbreviations demanding reflection on what is to be. The depth of pathology I had never foreseen. People who rape and murder and who otherwise are needy. But we meet many strong and brave souls with strengths galore, and the crime of conviction defines them no more. Humanity prevails despite the conviction or crime. Rehabilitation and transformation can happen over time. Those labels as sex offenders trouble me a lot, as conditions, all onerous, deserving or not. And for those struggling with mental illness, and the elderly too, require compassion and community opportunities, often too few. Drug use is rampant inside and out of the new red barn. Sadly, we can't stifle alcohol, cocaine, and its ongoing harm. But people are experts in their own lives. We should not be prescriptive or pathologize. While the board is diverse, complex, rich, and fine, release decisions are challenging, values redefined. Taking lots of deep breaths characterize my norm. I know I have fault lines that run deep in reform. Critical of our punishment industry, way too robust. For me, rethinking justice is an absolute must. While sensitive to victim impact, not so much the persistent PDA. When is enough, and who should say? I dislike labels such as offender, addict, and clean. I know I'm opinionated, passionate since a teen. My mother, crushed by a driver, taught me redemption. Opiate addiction, a crisis. My nephew OD'd, did I mention? This is all for you. To you, heartfelt thanks for collegiate and patience so deep. You were considerate and kind, as this job was a leap. From each of you, and I really mean this, a morsel or two was extracted. My justice journey is duly enhanced and impacted. In this challenging endeavor, I truly wish you well. You play a vital role and can always ring the bell. So I just want to thank you so very much. Obviously, this is from my heart and my experiences, and it's been a joy to work with you, and I certainly will take with me so many of the experiences and information I have learned and gathered over these few years. So just thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Still have a number of boards to go through, so let's do our best. Thank you. Thank you.
We really have been very fortunate, and I can only speak for the time that I've been here since 2013, to have gifted and talented and educated and articulate and compassionate and intelligent people serving as commissioners. And I thank you for your service. I thank you all for your service. And wish you well and wish us all well as we go forward without you. I don't have any other announcements or correspondence to share this month. Does anyone else have any other announcements, correspondence, invitations? Okay. Then with that, I would be happy to entertain a motion to adjourn the board business meeting for May at the conclusion of executive session, during which we will discuss particular confidential information for a person who's incarcerated. So is there a motion to adjourn at the conclusion of executive session? Motion made by Commissioner Mark Capola, second by Commissioner William Smith. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Okay, thank you.